Welcome to our monthly parenting conversation workshops. Today we're going to tackle the difficult topic of online safety for our teenagers. It is during this time of life, as they begin understanding more about life and why we make the choices we do, that we need to make sure to take the time to train our children in how we protect ourselves with all of the avenues that possible predators can attack us from. This is not just an issue for teenagers, but we as adults have navigated these situations on a regular basis for much longer. Being we have more experience with possible threats coming from the world, it is important that we share our safety measures with our children. In fact, a study by Iqbal and colleagues in 2021 notes the importance of parental mediation and how it not only helps teenagers learn safety measures, but also helps decrease the likelihood of them acting out inappropriate behaviors that were modeled in online videos and conversations. Recently, the Associated Press has been reporting on several cases of social media attacks on FIFA players and politicians. But as many of us know, these types of attacks have been happening within social media for years. Cyberbullying laws have been put into place, but it is still difficult to catch everything going on. In Britain, they are working to pass legislation requiring greater monitoring of social media, strongly pushed by the families of two teenagers that ended up dead due to social media. One was killed by bullies whose behavior went unchecked, and the other committed suicide after finding a group of people and information promoting suicide. It is not always a case of life or death for us, but it can be. Sometimes it is just the manipulation and threats of embarrassment or punishment to our children. Sometimes it is coerced entrance into sexually explicit behaviors that lead to further danger. A study by Chu and Quayle in 2022 noted how often teenagers got coerced into offline sexually inappropriate and dangerous situations by people they considered friends after building what they saw as trusted friendships online. Their natural curiosities were exploited during grooming behavior by adults who knew it was wrong to be engaging in such behavior with minors, sometimes with ingratiating manipulations and sometimes with outright extortion after an initial mild sexualized online encounter. The FBI has been reporting on cases of sextortion since 2019. While that may seem to be all old news, it is still happening today, maybe even more widely spread. Just yesterday, I was talking to my 19-year-old daughter, and she was telling me about a friend of hers who had it happen to him last week. He was sent an image by an unknown account. He deleted it, but within a few minutes, he was sent an extortion threat by a separate account. Now, luckily, he's over 18 and he knew it was a scam and had deleted both the moment they arrived. But many teenagers do not know about this, or are too afraid of being found out of what they have done to push back and fight back. They also do not realize that what they think is private information that no one will ever know stuff, the images, the videos, the browser history, the keystroke history that they've done, is being shared among businesses worldwide. Maybe if they knew, they would be less likely to engage in those behaviors. It is so important for parents to talk to their children about the dangers that are waiting out there, to encourage our children to stay away from apps and sites they would not want family to know about, and to find a good monitoring tool that helps parents see warning signs before it is too late. Today, I want to point out a few apps. Now, these apps are representative of categories of apps, not just those themselves, but I want to talk about some of the possible pitfalls within some apps. I want to start with Discord because it is an app that many children and parents know about and use. I'm not saying that we should stop using it. I am saying to make sure we are taking precautions. Being Discord and many other gaming apps allow members to chat with friends and or strangers while playing games. It can expose children to content or people that are meant to prey on their vulnerability. It is always better to make sure they are only on with their friends while using these types of apps. If they are on with strangers, it is important that they know not to give away their personal information and not to trust that the person on the other end is who they say they are. The next type of app I want to talk about is social media apps that connect people together. Many people use these apps to connect with friends and follow influencers that are promoting safe things. Not a bad thing. However, some apps, like Wiz, for example, connect members with strangers. Some are according to interest, as Wiz is, while others are geographic locations. Anything that connects children, teenagers included, with total strangers and gives information about them to total strangers, especially their location, makes them more vulnerable to predators, physical and or mental. Wiz promotes itself as being safe for children and markets itself for 12-year-olds and up. It has some pretty incredible monitoring in place to try and limit the risks for children. However, their monitoring is not able to catch everything. Several reviews within the App Store warn of the dangers of this app. Older people are posing as younger people, inappropriate requests are happening, and threats for inappropriate content. Just like we teach our children in the physical world not to talk to strangers, we need to encourage that same behavior in the online world. We meet people in the physical world and slowly test their trustworthiness, looking for warning signs along the way. We need to teach that same example and those same warning signs to those we meet online. Lastly, I want to talk about apps that help people hide what they know is inappropriate content and behavior from loved ones. There are many forms of content vaults, some obvious vaults, while others are mimicking other apps. In this case, the Calculator Vault apps, of which you see 4 of them here, mimic calculators, so parents and school leaders will not realize it is a vault hiding photos, videos, files, message strings, browser history, and even other dangerous apps. These apps are marketed as being there to protect our data from internet cookies and data miners. However, many of the users admit they use it to hide content from parents and spouses. Some of these apps even have false passwords that lead to separate innocent image accounts, so no one will know about the real contents of the app. What many do not realize is that these apps have access to all the content put in there and can share that information or use it to blackmail the owner if they choose. If a child feels they need this type of app, they are definitely engaging in something that can lead to issues in their lives, even if that something is just extortion. As we see, our children's safety does not stop at just their physical or mental safety. The sharing of personal information is an issue as well. Even as adults, we are often unaware of our rights to privacy. The Attorney's General Office shared information about your right to limit personal information from being spread, even if you give consent in one area or to one group. The amount of data mining done by the apps we download and use that is then being sold or shared to other companies or groups pushes past these limits. Thus, it is important for all of us to be aware of what is being collected and intentionally setting boundaries for what those companies can do with the information they collect. SafeWise, which is a safety and security company, recommends making sure to review what apps are downloaded on your child's phone and noting what information those apps are sharing. Some ways they recommend making sure you are seeing what apps are being used, not just what apps are showing on the home screen by possible fake shortcuts that hide those apps, is to open each app on the phone to see where it takes you, or to look at the App Store on their phone and see what has already been downloaded or purchased. Note that anything that has already been purchased and downloaded has a cloud or some marking just to download it where the other will say get or purchase. This can help you look for any suspicious apps or activities. The biggest recommendation from many sources is to talk with your children about the best ways to stay safe online. As the parent of 2 recent high school graduates, I have had to navigate these issues myself. It is not easy, but there are apps that help. There are free options for adding parental controls to a child's phone, and then there are paid options. The free options start with the device's built-in parental controls. These allow you to set time limits, block apps, and require parental authorization for downloading any new apps. You may want to have someone from your device's help desk help you set this up, being each device has its own process and options. This is what I did with my children, and along with the conversations about risky behavior, we greatly limited inappropriate content and connections. For me, it became a financial issue. I did not have the money to go ahead and purchase anything more, although looking back, I think that might have been a wise purchase for me. And although my children did not always like me, they understood. There are some non-built-in apps as well that offer free versions, but their paid versions are always better. So if you would like something more robust that will actively monitor the content of the conversations within any platform, of all the ones out there, I recommend Bark. This app not only allows for the limitation of apps and time frames, just like the built-in apps in your phone, but it adds more. Bark actively monitors social media, video, and messaging apps and will contact the parent if concerning content is shared. If there is nothing concerning, you can still opt to check on their usage, but a notification will not be initiated by the program. In the struggle to allow teenagers some freedom to do well on their own while still protecting them from major mistakes, this app is a good middle ground. It allows for increased privacy for children, not having parents read every message sent or video watched, while offering peace of mind for parents. But if you can afford it, it's a great option. If you go month by month, it's $14 a month, but if you can pay for it a year at a time, it drops the cost to just over $8 per month. If you have the ability to get this program, it is recommended as one of the most stable and comprehensive options available. That is all I have for you today. If you would like to research this further, links will be placed into the comments below. If you have questions or would like more information about how to protect your child online, feel free to reach out to the staff at your child's school and they can help you get the information you need. We are here to support you in being the best parent you can be, so we are glad to help. Thank you for joining us today. We look forward to seeing you at our next Parenting Conversation Starters workshop. Have a great evening.